All right, I'm getting double teamed.
Do what?
I'm
Well,
getting double teamed by y'all.
kind of, I guess. But you're more than welcome to bring a Browns person on. To be honest with you.
Oh no, don't worry. I'll bring somebody on. Don't worry.
All right. This is episode 7 of the Battle of Ohio podcast. We're coming off the Browns besting the Bengals and sweeping the Battle of Ohio this week. But you know what? Even though they won and they're the only undefeated team left in the NFL, the Steelers still suck.
The Steelers still suck, and I'm not gonna brag, by the way, because y'all been beating us for 20 years. So I'm not gonna take a victory lap. I'm just gonna take my lap.
I forget what the final. Not the final. I forget what the all-time record is. We talked about it on like the last podcast or maybe the one before that. But the Bengals, whatever it is, the Bengals do still lead all time. But y'all are getting closer with that win, 2 in a row. So
yeah, we're one game closer. One more game closer, guys. We're catching up.
Well, that's definitely a good thing for you. But so anyway,
Welcome to the Battle of Ohio podcast, where we follow the revival of the historic rivalry between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cleveland Browns.
what are you drinking today, Thomas?
Today I am drinking the last of my apple pie moonshine. I got this little mug of mine. I got apple pie moonshine from Gatlinburg, Tennessee. What a great town, by the way. And I am drinking this because all my friends came over and drink all my alcohol. So don't have friends, y'all. They would drink your alcohol. That's all friends do. They drink your alcohol. Just have podcast friends.
You know what's good? Having friends who come over and drink your alcohol, but then also bring you alcohol. That's the trade-off with alcohol and friends. So we got our very first non-5-year-old guest with us this week. Everybody, we got Jacob Lawson. Say hi, Jacob.
Hello, everyone.
And as you can tell from the hat, he is a Bengals fan. And if you want to come on the Battle of Ohio podcast, hit me up on Facebook or Twitter, facebook.com/the Phelps and at Kyle Phelps 92 on Twitter. Or you can just comment down below. If you want to come on, we're more than happy to have you. What are you drinking today, Lawson?
I've got Wiffle from Rheingeist. Cool brewery. So
I love Wiffle.
If you're not from around here, it's a good place to stop.
Great brewery.
Me personally,
great brewery.
Yeah. Me personally, I'm drinking. I don't even know how to pronounce this. It's Hoffer. Can you read that?
Ooh, the Schafferhofer.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good beer.
Grapefruit beer. And I wasn't planning on having it on the podcast because I'm not the biggest fan in the world of fruity beers, but I keep forgetting to buy beer. So this is what I have. This is the last one. If I don't get something next week, I'm going to have to reuse something. So
we'll be drinking water.
But hey, it is tasty. It is good stuff.
Schafferhofer is a really good beer, man. Yeah. And by the way, Rheingeist, I love that brewery. Rheingeist got beers like the Rheingeist Wowie and the Rheingeist not Rheingeist. Yeah, Rheingeist. And they have the bubbles. I'm gonna love the bubbles.
The rosé.
I love the Cougar. Cougar's really good.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and start getting into these games. As we know, the Bengals, unfortunately, lost to the Browns and got swept in the Battle of Ohio this week. And we draw the Titans, who are 5-1 and have only lost to the other, I guess now the only undefeated team left in the NFL, the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the Titans are absolutely rolling right now. If we haven't won, if we've only won one game so far this year, I don't know what we're going to do against the Titans, to be honest with you. We got Derrick Henry, who's leading the league in rushing yards in the NFL. He's leading in the vast majority of categories. Not every single category, but he's leading in a lot of rushing categories right now. And the Bengals are the 5th worst in the NFL at stopping the run. They've allowed 936 yards. It was bad when we played Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, but, Derrick Henry's on another level. What do you think, Lawson? Do you think there's you think the Bengals got any chance this week?
It's going to be ugly. That's all I'm going to say. I don't have much confidence, I'm going to be honest. I think we're going to see some heads roll with trying to stop Derrick Henry.
Well, I think,
and then not to mention Tannehill's probably one of the most efficient passers as well. I think he leads the NFL in yards per attempt right now.
Well, that he is, and he's also he's almost, if it weren't for Patrick Mahomes just being Patrick Mahomes, Ryan Tannehill's touchdown interception ratio would look incredible too. I believe it was 15 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. And he is just playing for what he looked like when he was in Miami, man. He's just playing completely on like here's his mind and here's where he is. He's just completely outside of it.
I mean, Derrick Henry will do wonders when they have to stop the run.
Right. Guys, and then when they don't have to run, they just go completely off. But you were gonna say something, Thomas?
Yeah, I think it could be I think it'd be a competitive game. I think that you guys can keep it close and competitive. I'm gonna refer. I'm looking at Russian. The first game that comes to mind when I think of a Russian team is the Baltimore team. The game that y'all played against Baltimore, although Baltimore did have 332 total yards that game, they also had 161 rushing yards that game, which is pretty solid, obviously, because of Baltimore. But y'all still only held Baltimore to 27 points. Y'all still kept Baltimore respectable for most of that game. I remember watching that game. Y'all stayed in that game for a good portion of it. Lamar Jackson didn't look great that game. He looked okay to good, and you only held him to 10 second half points. Y'all stayed competitive, and Joe Burrow, he's in rhythm. He looked like he was in rhythm last game. I think that I'm not saying that y'all could win, but I think that y'all could at least make it a competitive game. I think that y'all have way too many offensive weapons.
Well,
not to at least keep the game close.
I agree with you to an extent. The Bengals at their best could definitely make this game with the Titans competitive. But you see, the thing about the Ravens game is that was a much healthier Bengals team that took those Ravens to the wire. And not that I'll give the Browns all the credit in the world because they are 5-2 and they have swept the Bengals. So there's that, but
no defense.
Neither of those teams played any good defense at all. The Bengals offense, I fully believe that the Bengals offense can compete with just about anybody, just because even without an offensive line, and actually going into this game, we're going to be down 3 offensive linemen. I believe Jonah Williams, Trey Hopkins, and Bobby Hart are all out this week, and that's not that's not going to be super great. But at the same time, our offensive line is so bad, it's just kind of like Is it going to make that much of a difference, especially when you're going up against a Titans defense, which I believe has only 7 sacks on the season. That's one of the worst in the NFL. But then again, we've made some teams that had bad pass rushes, like the Colts, look really good this year. So you never know. But I will say, if the Bengals have a chance, it's because it's going to be, once again, the onus is going to be on Joe Burrow to keep us in this game, and it's just it's going to have to come on Joe Burrow taking advantage of the Titans defense, which is pretty good, but not quite as potent as their offense. And like I said, doesn't really boast a pretty strong pass rush. But the Browns, on the other hand, are going up. They're hosting the Oakland Raiders. Now the Raiders aren't nearly as good as the Titans, but they are 3-3 and they're scrappy. And they are not to be taken lightly. So what are your keys to this game, Thomas?
I always, every single game, I always say the same thing, is that the key to every single game is getting Myles Garrett going. Every single game that Myles Garrett get going, the Browns seem to win. That's just the Ravens and the Steelers were the only 2 teams to kind of neutralize Myles Garrett. Hence why they was able to defeat them. Myles Garrett is right now a lot of people's favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year. He might even he has a chance to beat the all-time sack record. That's how good he is right now. He is just phenomenal right now. So obviously my key to the game always going to start with Myles Garrett, especially considering the fact that we have so many holes on our defense. It makes our defense look lighter, especially with Oakland having its players, its offensive linemen going through COVID protocol. I'm pretty sure they're all back, but there's always that mental edge that the Browns will have over the Oakland Raiders. And also we got momentum. After the last game, the Browns come on a comeback win against the Bengals. Sorry, Bengals fans.
Wow.
But the Raiders lost a very tough game against the Buccaneers. Wasn't even close for real. And it just seems like one team's stock is going up while the other team's stock is going down. So getting Myles Garrett going early and getting Baker Mayfield going early and getting some timely stops, I think the Browns can actually take care of this team pretty handily. I know the Raiders are good. Don't get me wrong; they are good, but I think that there are some mental holes. There are some mental issues with that Raiders team. I think the Browns right now are mentally more tough than the Raiders are.
I definitely agree. I think the Browns have a good chance to put this Raiders team away. So like I said, though, before, the Raiders have been winning games you just don't expect them to win. Like now I believe, were we doing predictions the week that they played the Chiefs? I don't think we were.
I'm pretty sure we did, actually.
We did?
Okay.
We
did.
I think I probably picked the Chiefs just to be safe in that game, but
I'm pretty sure I picked the Chiefs.
I had been telling everybody that I thought that was a game that the Raiders could really win. And actually, when I did my season predictions at the beginning of this year, I had the Raiders winning that game. Because, this is not the same old, terrible Raiders who just let, the whole league walk all over them and maybe win 5 or 6 games in a year. This is a legitimate playoff contender. And, I know Derek Carr has had his struggles, and there's been, there were questions in the offseason about are Derek Carr and John Gruden on the same page. But I think he's really been playing and showing that he's worth being taken seriously as a starting quarterback in the NFL. And I think ultimately the Browns are. I think Baker Mayfield's a better quarterback than Derek Carr.
Ooh.
Oh,
I like to hear that.
Absolutely.
I like to hear that.
Baker Mayfield is a better quarterback than Derek Carr. I think the Browns in general have a better. The Browns have more talent. Like the top end of the Browns' talent is higher, I believe, than the top end of the Raiders' talent. But man,
Yes.
that Browns defense could get you into trouble, especially the way they play against the Bengals. That could really hurt you against Derek Carr and the Raiders.
Yeah, we might see a slug match, man. Actually, I think the Browns. I think it's probably gonna be a touchdown or 2 game. I don't think it's gonna be. I don't know. It's not gonna be a blowout for sure because I think it might be another offensive slug match because that Raiders defense is just as bad. In fact, probably worse than the Browns defense. That Raider defense has been good ever since they traded the best pass rusher in the league. So I just think the Raiders defense is just. It's just gonna be easy to slice through like cheese. So
sometimes trading a top pass rusher is a really, really stupid looking move. Sometimes it's a really nice looking move. Going back to the Bengals game real quick. I think one thing that could potentially help us, maybe not against the Titans, because I'm really struggling to see how this Bengals team matches up well against the Titans at all. I don't think it's impossible for us to beat good teams. I just think the matchups don't really work out well in our favor. But one thing that I think is going to work out well in our favor is I think the chemistry of the players on this team is starting to come together. And we're one of the biggest deterrents to that chemistry working in the locker room right now. We actually just shipped off to Seattle. And a couple hours before we recorded this podcast, the Bengals traded Carlos Dunlap to the Seattle Seahawks for a 7th round pick, and BJ Finney, not Finley. I keep calling him Finley, but it's Finney. BJ Finney from the Seattle Seahawks. who I believe is primarily an offensive guard, but he came into the league as a center, so he's kind of versatile in that way. Do you think we got a good deal, Lawson?
I mean, I think you had to get rid of him. I mean, given
Okay.
the chemistry and kind of how vocal he was about wanting to get out. And I mean, I think with him basically personally tanking his own value, I think we got about what we could expect.
Mhm.
And with the holes and kind of how bad our offensive line is, I know people are talking about how he's just kind of a very, very deep depth pick. But I mean, compared to what we have, I mean, I think he's got the potential provided, depending on how long people are out, to start and actually kind of make himself a spot. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think 2017, 2018, he actually had elite grades in pass protection
Yeah,
as a part of the Steelers.
they
So
were 70. They were definitely in the 70s. Like I think it was 71 something in 2017 and 73 something in 2018. So he's not bad.
Tricky.
But see, I kind of agree with you. I think I think the important thing to remember here is that this is not we're not trading, Sat King Carlos Dunlap. We're not trading, Carlos Dunlap of like 2015. We're trading Carlos Dunlap, who has done nothing but this year he has done nothing but destroy his trade value, destroy any value he has to the Bengals. He forced his way out by basically making it so that he provided no value to the Bengals. It was literally better for them to, like, even if they had to cut him and get rid of him, that would have been better than keeping him on the roster. That's how much he forced the Bengals' hand. So the fact that we even got a player and a pick out of him is insane to me. And I know a lot of people see the 7th round pick and they're like, oh, well, that's a terrible pick, that you got a terrible deal out of that. It's like, well, but at least we got something when we very well could have gotten nothing. And then, like I said, we've got all these injuries on the offensive line, bringing in a guy like BJ Finney, who actually, the kind of role player he reminds me of, obviously not as far as like, how he actually plays and his build and stuff like that, but as far as the type of the way that he affects the team, he kind of reminds me of guys who through the Bengals history, like Anthony Collins and Marshall Newhouse. Guys who they were never starters. I think once or twice, a couple of times they might have been relied on starters throughout their career on the Bengals, but it was never the kind of thing where you really expected, like, hey, they're really going to be the long-term solution here. And BJ Finney is not going to be the long-term solution to either of our guard positions or the center position or anything like that. But I think he can come in and be a really good, interesting depth piece, which is basically what we were trying to get out of Carlos Dunlap anyway. So we basically traded a depth piece for another depth piece on a position that on an offensive line position that a lot of people have been saying the Bengals aren't doing enough to try to fix. And in addition to that, there's been rumors that we're bringing in Quentin Spain. So ultimately, I think that we got as good a value as we could have really hoped for. And if you thought we were getting a 3rd round pick and a starter out of Carlos Dunlap, you're insane. I'm sorry. You going to say, Thomas?
I was going to just say, it's also just addition by subtraction too.
Exactly.
We talk about this being a young team. We talk about this deeply about this being a young team, about this team being a rebuild, and about Bengals fans remembering who you guys are. Like the goal for the Bengals right now should be to do wherever they can so they can make the playoffs next year. I know that sounds crazy to y'all Bengals fans. Like, oh, why are we thinking about next year doing this year? Well, everything that y'all should be doing should be to make sure that Joe Burrow does not have a toxic environment. Joe Burrow is going to be a quarterback for the next 15 to 20 years. So Absolutely. What you want to do is you want to make sure that there's as many positive veterans in your locker room as possible, because if you have too many negative veterans in your locker room, then it's going to ruin the development of your quarterback. So by getting rid of somebody who doesn't buy into the coach system, who's going to say negative stuff about the coaching, who's not going to buy into the system, by getting rid of him, just like that, you created a better environment for Joe Burrow, because you created an environment where Joe Burrow is probably more willing to buy in because he has less negative people around him, and everybody that's going to be around Joe Burrow from here on out are buying into his future and the future of the Bengals.
Right. And The thing is about Carlos Dunlap is he wasn't buying into the Bengals' future, but he was a huge part of the Bengals' past, and I think a lot of that's going to get lost in the way that he's been acting lately. But I think especially in like 10 years, people are going to look back and they're going to think of Carlos Dunlap as that guy who almost hit the sack record. They're not going to think of him as the guy who kind of flamed out at the end of his career with the Bengals. I mean, they might remember that whole thing, but they're mostly going to remember him as a great player. And as they should, because he's been an amazing, productive member, not only of the Bengals, but also of the community for a very long time here. I mean, even, through all of this, he's been very, positive and, nice towards the fans, like all of his frustration has very clearly been taken towards this coaching staff, and not even the Bengals organization, just the coaching staff, which, I mean, I still I wish he would have handled it a little bit better, but at the same time, I want to remember Carlos Dunlap, the great player, not Carlos Dunlap, the tantrumy baby that we've seen for the last week. So hopefully we can do that. Lawson, that's what the power of editing is for.
I don't think we should edit this out. Fuck you, Zoom.
Well,
Fuck you.
You know what?
You're monopoly over the cause. Fuck this. I'm getting me one of those little echoes from Facebook or some shit like that. I don't know.
Just edit it so it says "fuck you" and then cut it, and then just cut like Baker Mayfield's name into the end of there. It says "fuck you, Baker Mayfield."
He's been a Bengals killer, by the way. He is 5-1 against the Bengals.
Yeah.
Man,
I'm not saying I'm not I let's see, how do I put this? I personally would edit this part out, but you're the one who's going to be editing this, so I guess if you leave it in, then
don't worry, I'm not going to edit it out. I don't like to cuss. I don't like to say the F word on YouTube. Fuck you, Zoom.
I think I've done it in just about every episode so far.
I'm pretty sure you did, actually. I'm like certain you have.
One of these days, do y'all remember when you watch South Park, Thomas?
Oh, I love South Park.
You remember when they did that one episode where they were like trying to find the origins of the word shit, and then they had like a shit counter at the bottom.
Oh yeah, because that was the first episode they could say shit on television.
Yeah,
that episode was funny as hell.
One of these days, we're gonna need like a fuck counter on
a Kyle fuck counter, just at the bottom of his picture.
We need a Carson Wentz's trash counter, because Carson Wentz is still trash, bro. Still trash.
You know what? Maybe we shouldn't edit this out. It adds personality.
Yeah, it does.
And we're not sponsored anyway.
I'm not gonna edit a part or two of this out. I see how it flows while I watch it. I see how it goes.
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Let's
fuck you, Zoom. For now, let's go ahead and get into these predictions, though. So right now, Thomas is leading me 19 wins to 14 wins on the season, and mostly because that first week I did absolutely terribly. I think Thomas had one more win than I did last week, so he still pulled ahead a little bit. But for the most part, we're really super far apart because I just absolutely got trashed that first week. So anyway, let's go ahead and talk about these games. First one up, we got the Patriots heading to Buffalo to play the Bills. What do you think, Thomas?
Man, so, it's gonna sound weird coming out of my mouth, but you gotta go with the Bills, right? I mean, you just gotta go with the Bills, right? I mean, I kind of feel weird. I'm gonna get burned for saying this. But I like Cam Newton, so this is my anti-jinx. I'm going with the Bills. And I just jinxed the Bills.
So you're saying you're gonna get burned in that you're expecting to get this one wrong? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I am literally expecting. You cannot trust the Bills to do anything. So I'm literally expecting the Bills to find some way to choke this out, because the Bills and beating the Patriots do not go in the same sentence.
They generally don't know.
I'm going with the Bills.
All right, fair enough. Thomas is going with the Bills. What do you think, Lawson?
I'm going to have to agree, actually. I'm taking the Bills as well. I mean, unless Bill Belichick can figure out how to run an offense without Tom Brady. I think it's going to be a Bills win.
It is weird. You're right. It is weird saying Bills are beating the Patriots, and that's like, what do you call it, the lock of the week or something like that. That sounds like a crazy thing to say, but 2020 is a crazy year, and the Patriots are not very good right now. The Patriots were looking good there for a while, but right now they are looking really bad. And the Bills kind of got their bad out of the way. They got right against the Jets, I think, and I think especially at home, give me Josh Allen throwing, especially, depending on what's going on with Stephon Gilmore, who knows how locked into this game he's even going to be. Give me Josh Allen throwing all day over that Patriots defense, and Cam Newton ain't going to save him at all.
Cam Newton has two passing touchdowns to 7 interceptions.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
I mean, he has more rushing touchdowns, but he has 2 passing touchdowns. Like, that's just I think he had five rushing touchdowns. We only have 2 passing touchdowns.
And minus
it could have been worse than Andy Dalton.
And then minus a couple weeks, Josh Allen's been lights out all year.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah, he I mean, there have been some dips here and there, but I think Josh Allen is proving himself to be the quarterback of the future there in Buffalo. They finally got one. It took them forever, but they finally got one. So now this next one, I don't know. This is going to probably be the hardest game of the week to predict. Me personally, I'm going back about 50-50 on who I think is going to win this game. But we got the Kansas City Chiefs versus the New York Jets.
Ooh.
Yeah, that one's tough.
Hard.
What do you think, Thomas? I don't envy your position doing this first.
Man, this is so hard because, Sam Darnold, he's been developing so much.
Oh yeah,
Sam Darnold developed. He developed from bad to really bad. Like it's been so impressive to watch him develop from bad to really bad. And Patrick Mahomes, man. I mean, like, can he really win back-to-back Super Bowls? I mean, like, there's no way he's that good, right?
Well, I mean, this is basically their Super Bowl. Playing the Jets. So.
Oh yeah. I mean. Look, I'm not going to front with you. Upsets can happen in the NFL, but an upset ain't going to happen today. The Chiefs are going to play around with the Jets. It's not going to be.
What do you think, Lawson? The Jets have a chance?
I think it's no way. If they're going to win a game, it's not going to be this one.
No, me personally, I think I think the Jets are a really, really good-looking team for the 2027 season.
The 2021 first pick.
So maybe they can steal some of that Trevor Lawrence magic before they actually draft him at the beginning of the year.
Unless he returns to college.
Well, you know what? He might be served better to do that. But at the same time, a lot of people talk about that. I mean, they talked about this with the Bengals last year. They're talking about it again with the Jets this year. And I don't think Trevor Lawrence is going to do that. Every once in a blue moon, you get a football player who's like, I don't want to play for that team. I refuse to do it. But most guys who make it to that level of the NFL are not built like that.
He has already stated that he has considered going back. On a side note,
you know what? Wait a minute.
He has gone on the he's gone on the record saying that he's considering going back for a senior year.
I know what you're talking about. He has done that.
He has said that recently.
Maybe the Jets are going to have to tank twice.
They might have to tank it for a second year.
I mean, I don't know the way Adam Gase is, taking that team.
It's not going to be hard.
Yeah, that just seems toxic to me.
Oh my God!
If they keep him for another year, they're what are you going to do at that point? You're just going to be like, I'll go play baseball.
I don't envy Jets fans. As a Browns fan, I've been in that position before. I've been there before.
We've been in that position as Bengals fans. I mean, we know.
No,
but at the same time, it's still like when you're in that position, it's an interesting thing for sure. So, but I don't want to spend too much time on the New York Jets here. Let's move on to the Los Angeles Chargers on Sunday night football, I believe. Either that or Sunday afternoon football, going to the Denver Broncos. Me personally, I think this one's I don't see anything other than Justin Herbert leading this team over the Broncos. The Broncos have some scrappiness to them, but I don't think it's going to be enough to take down a Chargers team that has kind of on and off been playing good this year. And right now they have a guy who is playing much, 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 much better than I expected. I thought Justin Herbert was going to be a bust, and I'll be the first one to sit here and admit it. I was saying all offseason Justin Herbert's terrible, or is going to be terrible, and he's not, and I was wrong. I'll admit that. What do you think, Thomas? Who's going to win this game?
Ooh, battle of the rookie quarterbacks. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna agree with you. I want to go with the Chargers. But I don't think it's gonna be a very close game. I think Drew Luck, he's okay, I guess. He's still very young. There's still so much to learn about him, I guess. No, Drew Luck's trash. Never mind. I take that back. Look at these numbers. Oh my god.
There's just too many weapons on the Chargers team.
Yeah, there's too much. There's no way. Drew Luck is just no. It's not Drew Luck's first year. This is his second year, right?
It's his second year.
Yeah, his second year. Yeah, no. Give me the Chargers. Give me the Chargers. Yeah, Drew Luck is just. Oh my god, that's just. I'm gonna look at his numbers. Like, how do you make it to the NFL? Like, dude, ugh. Like, no, give me the Chargers for sure. Chargers for sure.
I think so. What do you think, Lawson?
I agree. I think Herbert's just enough, and he's got enough weapons that he's one of those situations where they keep him upright, and I don't think there's a way they lose.
That and,
we got.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I'm gonna say we got a little rookie of the year competition between Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow. Isn't that fun to watch, right?
Yeah, well, it is, but I know personally, I think now that Burrow's kind of heated up and I think he's trusting the throws that he's making. I think he's starting to he's getting out of those like initial rookie habits where he's I think anticipating pressure where it doesn't really exist. I think he's starting to get himself out of that, and you're starting to see. I think personally, you're starting to see Burrow kind of pull away as that conversation. I think the only way that Herbert comes back really is if the Chargers just start winning and turn into a legitimate playoff contender. Because then people are going to start being like, oh well, Herbert's winning, so you got to give him consideration.
Yeah, give it to the guy who wins. Yeah.
But I mean, if things just keep going the way they're going right now, I think it's going to be Burrow in a landslide.
If we've learned one thing, it's just to stab your starting quarterback in the lung, and you need to win games.
Well, I mean, we didn't stab Dalton in the lung, but we kind of stabbed him in the back.
I mean, we'll talk about this later, but he kind of got his head blew off last week. So
he definitely got his head blown off last week.
So next we got the LA Rams going to the Miami Dolphins. You know what? Do you, Lawson, first? What do you think?
I think the Rams. I mean, I think with Tua being his first week, I think there are going to be some hiccups. I don't think they're going to come out swinging. So I mean, as I think Tua will have a bright future. I just don't think that it's going to start off extremely well for him. I think the Rams are just going to be a bit too much. Aaron Donald's just a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I 1000% agree with him. You just said everything I would have said. Tua's going to have a good career, but it's not going to be against the Rams.
Yeah, I'll be completely honest with you. I forgot that Tua was starting this week, and I had the Rams winning anyway. So,
you don't believe in Fifth Magic?
No, I do. As Bengals fans, we have seen what Ryan Fitzpatrick can do. Now, granted, that was very early on in his career, but still, I believe in Fitzpatrick. I don't believe in the Dolphins. I think they're better than they were last year, but and I think Brian Flores is a very good head coach, but I don't think they're quite that team that's just going to beat teams like the Los Angeles Rams on a regular basis.
Yeah, no, you're right.
So we got the Indianapolis Colts going to Detroit to play the 3-3 Lions. Who saw that one coming? Back to 500 in Detroit. So what do you think, Thomas?
I'm gonna go with the Colts, but I think it's gonna be a close game. I think the Colts are good, but I don't think the Colts are great. I think they're still going to that last playoff seed. But I think it's gonna be a close game. But I'm gonna go with the Colts. I don't know about Biter.
Okay. Lawson?
I agree. I mean, the Colts defense, they've just been They've just been too good. I mean, obviously they're not the pass rushing defense. So you see a lot of the top defenses, they're consistent. I mean, it is what it is. I think they're gonna take it from Detroit. I mean, talk about a middle of the road team. Literally, Detroit is just like they can't do anything that's not just end up being middle of the road.
Well, a lot of Detroit's success comes in the second half, and that's when the Colts defense improves is during the second half. So yeah, that defense, the Colts defense, is a lot better than they get credit for. So yeah, I agree with him.
All right, well, hot take of the week on me then. I think the Lions are going to win this game.
Ooh, hot take.
Yeah, I know, but it's the Lions have been on a roll. Like I said, they got back to 500. I don't know how they did it. Maybe Matt Patricia's a better coach than we all gave him credit for, but I think Matt Stafford being one of the most underrated quarterbacks possibly in the history of the NFL. Because nobody gives him credit because he's just been in such a terrible situation for so long. But I think going to Detroit, I think the fact that the Colts have kind of gotten exposed quite a bit this year, in that I don't think they're nearly as good as like people talk about. Oh, they're one of the best defenses in the NFL, and they are, but that was against a lot of bad teams. And I think the Lions were a bad team, but they're kind of not anymore. So. Now, and I know they beat the Falcons. I know it's just kind of like, are you going to read that much into their start? And I don't think the Lions are going to come back and necessarily be playoff contenders be in the playoff race at the end of the year. But I do think that they surprise a lot of people this week and win in Detroit against the Colts.
Okay. Matt Stafford has 10 touchdowns, 4 interceptions this year with a 62% completion rating. So, he's not bad. Doing pretty good.
He's a solid quarterback, I think.
He is a solid quarterback.
So on tomorrow night, actually, we're recording this on Wednesday nights, but tomorrow, and when this podcast come out, we'll know the result of this game. But right now we don't. So we got the Falcons traveling to the Carolina Panthers. So I'll go first this time. I hate the I hate the Falcons. I don't hate the Falcons. Like, I don't hate the team. I don't hate the fans. I don't hate their logo. I don't hate them as a team, but I hate them in 2020 from like perspective of like deciding if they're good or not. They're terrible. They're just not good. They're losing to anybody who has a pulse. They're like the Jets of the NFC. In terms of just like not getting anything done. Now they've been looking better at times than the Jets, but they're just, never mind. They're not the Jets of the NFC. They're the Bengals of the NFC because they're not putting any of these games away, and they're looking bad in situations where they really shouldn't look bad. I think the Panthers are looking better than people expected under Matt Rule, and I think they get back to 500 this week.
It's been so much fun watching the Falcons this year, hasn't it, man? Like
if you
this team,
hate the Falcons, maybe.
Like this team, like they've been getting New England Patriot all year long. It's been hilarious. They've been blowing these leads like crazy. It's like they could not hold on to a lead. It is like watching them lose. Like watching them lose, how people used to have pleasure watching the Browns lose. That was like watching the Falcons right now. It's just so much fun watching them blow these leagues. It's like, oh, they're about to get a win. They're about to get a win. Nope, psych.
So what? As a Bengals fan, what was one of my favorite Brown seasons to watch?
Don't you dare say 0-16.
2017. Yes, that was one of my favorite as a Bengals fan to watch. So I imagine Saints fans, Buccaneers fans, Panthers fans are rather enjoying this Falcons season, but I don't think it's fun to watch at all. I think it kind of sucks. Lawson, what do you think? Who's going to win this game?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a question. I think it'll be close up until about 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and then Atlanta will find a way to lose. Especially with this being the first week that Christian McCaffrey is eligible to come back. So, and I think they've got him practicing this week, if I'm not mistaken. So I think if he comes back, especially, it's just nail in the coffin.
Man, don't bring Christian McCaffrey back for the Falcons. No, let him rest.
Bring him back in the fourth quarter and let him rest the first 3 quarters.
No, bring him back for like the final 2 minutes of the fourth quarter.
That's all they'll need. We'll score 2 touchdowns right there.
Exactly. Yeah. Score 3 touchdowns, maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I did I give my prediction?
Yeah, you
I'm like,
said, dude, come on. We all know who's going to win this game.
well,
Jesus
I mean,
knows who's going to win
I'm
this
picking
game.
the Panthers.
Yeah.
I can't remember if I
yeah.
made my prediction first or not. So, but we'll move on anyway. My pick is the Panthers. So next we got the Vikings going to the Packers, and what do you think, Thomas?
Vikings haven't looked good. We got the Browns have the thing that made the Vikings offense go. This is proof. Vikings gonna lose this game. So Packers gonna win this game.
Yeah.
Packers.
Aaron Rodgers is back.
Yeah, he is.
Aaron
yeah,
Rodgers
he
is back and the man.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's just
Green
so
Bay all the
good.
way.
Yeah. The Vikings are dead, man.
Yeah. I obviously agree. My heart aches for Mike Zimmer because he might get fired, and he really doesn't deserve it. He's a good coach.
He can come back with open arms to the Bengals. Take over for Lou.
Actually, my dad. I was talking to my dad. I think yesterday about what's going on up there in Minnesota, and he's like, it sucks to see what's going on up there, but maybe if we cross our fingers, then Mike Zimmer will get fired, and he can come back and be the Bengals defensive coordinator. And I'm over here like, Dad, get your head out of the clouds. Come on, that's not happening. I mean, maybe that could be a potential possibility if Marvin Lewis was still here, but he's not. Zach Taylor, I don't even know if Zach Taylor knows Mike Zimmer, like on a personal level. So that's just get your head out. Bengals fans, stop thinking about that. It's not going to happen. Stop it.
Shit, if I'm the Vikings, I'm losing every single game for the rest of the season, hoping the Jets win a game, which probably won't happen, but hoping the Jets win a game and you get Trevor Lawrence, because Trevor Lawrence in Minnesota makes a lot of sense. Trevor Lawrence in Minnesota makes a lot of sense.
I didn't even think about that, but yeah, the Vikings kind of I didn't think they would be, but they kind of are. They're in the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes now, aren't they?
Yeah, and they're in a hard division, so yeah.
Hell, ship Kirk Cousins and his $84 million the hell out of there.
Yeah. Oh my God.
No one's gonna take that contract.
Well, no, but I mean, once the contract runs out, you just get rid of him and then bring Trevor Lawrence in, and I mean, I don't know. I think if they fire Zimmer, then they're not going to be competitive with Trevor Lawrence anyway. But if they try to keep the same system and plug Trevor Lawrence in, then I think they might have a shot. But
yeah, I think what you do is you just let Kirk Cousins be the veteran in the room for Trevor Lawrence. If he would do that, I don't think he would.
And that man, not
if you're paying him $84 million.
If you got a chance, look, man. If you're the Vikings, you got a chance to get Trevor Lawrence. You got to take it, man. You just got to take it.
I mean, you absolutely do, but you also got to find a way to get rid of Kirk Cousins. Like,
you can find a way to get rid of
whatever way you can to get that contract off the books. You're
eating half of it at least.
Yeah,
go do some white collar crime. I don't know.
Yeah.
Get it off. Figure out how to do it, legal or illegal. I can say that because I'm not a member of the Minnesota Vikings front office.
You can find a way to get rid of Kirk Cousins, but you're never going to find another Trevor Lawrence. So you got to. It's like it ain't no debate. Like if you got a chance to tank, you might as well just lose the rest of the game.
I think now that I think about that and I realize that the Vikings are in the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes, that is who I'm rooting for to get Trevor Lawrence. I would love to see him in Minnesota, especially if they keep Mike Zimmer, because I mean, like I said, he's not coming back at Cincinnati, Bengals fans. So get that out of your head. But we can still root for him in Minnesota. I mean, if the Bengals aren't going to win the Super Bowl, I'd love to see the Vikings win the Super Bowl. Neither of those are going to happen this year. but I mean, you can root for them. You can root for Mike Zimmer to have success because he's not coming back. I mean, unless we fire Zach Taylor, and I know some of y'all want that to happen, but don't be stupid. Anyway, next we got the Saints and the Bears. Now, these are supposedly two good teams. I don't know if right. They're good teams. They're like the Saints are a good team and the Bears are a good team. I think the Saints are a better team than the Bears. I don't know how much I totally buy either of them. I think the Saints are. I mean, they're going to be in the playoffs, but you've had Drew Brees kind of, definitely up and also definitely down at points this season. So I don't know what the future holds for the Saints this season, but I do think that I've got a smoke alarm going off in my house. That's nice. Might have to go deal with that in a second. But real quick, I'll just say that I think the Bears are fake and Nick Foles is bad at football, and the Bears defense can't overcome him forever, especially going up against Drew Brees. I'm going to go take care of a smoke alarm. You two talk about who's going to win this game.
I mean, you got to go with the Saints, right? This
one was up in the air for me. I mean, knowing Bears defense is good. I mean, that was the kicker for me. I mean, obviously, I think offense is no doubt. New Orleans offense is way better than Chicago's offense, but Chicago's defense is scary at times, and that was the real thing. I was 50-50 on this game up to the point I picked it. I do think New Orleans is going to win just because Drew Brees is Drew Brees, even though he's a little older now. His arm's slowing down a little bit, but I mean, when it comes down to it, clutch time. Drew Brees is Drew Brees. I think that's all you got to say about it.
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much what I was thinking. That's the X factor I was thinking because, the Saints lost some. They lost to the Raiders, and I know it was week 2 of a year that we had a pandemic and a shortened off season. So the first 3 weeks were really like a wash to me for real. But it's just like they allowed the Chargers to take them to overtime. And that was kind of head scratching. I know they beat the Panthers, and the Panthers are probably in the same breath as the Bears, but the Saints, they're not like they were the last 2 years where they were just like every single time you see them on the schedule, if you pick them to win a game, 90% of the time you're correct. They're more like, when they play these good teams, it's kind of closer than it should be. But I gotta agree with Kyle about the Bears. I think Nick Foles is gonna come down to earth a little bit. And I think he's going to be okay, but I don't think he's going to be good enough to beat the Saints. Saints are the Saints, man.
I will say, never thought you'd hear someone say it, but losing Michael Thomas for who knows how long because of whatever's going on with him is a good thing because Alvin Kamara is getting his hands on the ball a lot.
Yeah.
Talk about a man that's scary with the ball.
I think I could make the comment that whoever team is unfortunate enough to have Mike Thomas on their team may occasionally benefit from not having Mike Thomas in the game. As good as he is sometimes, some of those plays are a little interesting, but that's off topic.
Anyway,
so you're picking the Saints, Lawson?
We both took the Saints, yeah.
Okay. All right. So then we got the Seahawks and 49ers. 49ers going to Seattle. What do you think, Thomas?
Is it Seahawks and 49ers? Ooh.
In Seattle.
That's going to be a good one. That's tough. I'm going to give the Seahawks a slight edge. Seahawks are rolling. The 49ers, they're not themselves this year. I did pick them last 2 weeks, but I'm picking the Seahawks this week. I'm not betting against Russell Wilson in this game.
So Russell Wilson's just too good. I mean, he's one of the other men competing for that MVP. I mean, he's just looked ridiculous, and even without the 12th man in Seattle, I don't think there's a question.
Although he did kind of collapse.
Jimmy G is coming back down, and he's not looking good.
I think Russell Wilson did not look like the MVP that he's been playing like most of the year in that second half against the Cardinals, though. So there's
DK Metcalf, though. That man can run.
Dude, the way that he sprinted after that guy, just like simply watching that made me feel out of breath.
Yeah.
Just on the others, I synthesized his tiredness from out of the screen into my body, and I was just like, oh my God, I'm out of breath. Like what's even going on?
This is the part of the podcast where you cut in all of the memes that have come from DK Metcalf running down
memes.
What Baker's? Have you seen them?
Definitely do that. I could definitely do that. My favorite one is the one where it said the Cowboys in the Super Bowl.
Karen and the store manager was my favorite.
Oh, yeah, that one was funny. 90s kids and 30s. That one was good. Yeah, I could definitely.
There's a lot of good
that.
ones.
Yeah, I could definitely do that. I'm definitely gonna do that. Actually, that's a good idea.
So next we got the Dallas Cowboys going to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh damn!
Wait! I didn't
Three
make
words.
my prediction. I didn't make my prediction.
Go ahead.
Seahawks. Okay, moving on. Eagles and Cowboys. You had
3 words. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, why you gotta do this to me? Oh, why you gotta do this to me? Why do you gotta do this to me? Why do we have to put NFC East teams against each other, man? Because it's like, it's like watching shit ball, man. It's like watching shit ball. Like it's like there's like a bunch of we made a South Park reference. What's the poop name? Mr. Hanky,
Mr. Hanky.
Yeah, Mr. Hanky.
Yeah, Mr. Hanky. It's like a football of Mr. Hanky, and they're just throwing Mr. Hanky around. That's what it's like, man. That's what it's like. Carson Wentz is still trash.
To catch it.
Nobody wants to catch it. I guess Eagles. Eagles. I guess Eagles.
So, on a previous episode, I'm going to go ahead and put my beard down real quick. But who is the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys?
Exactly. That's all you have to say.
Andy Dalton's hurt, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Dalton's hurt, so they got some
Justin
nobody
Gilbert
coming in and playing.
Or no, he's not a nobody. He's going to be if I'm not mistaken, if the third string quarterback is that guy who the Browns actually traded to him. His name was Jason Gilbert, something like that. What's his name?
Gilbert Godfrey.
Exactly. Never
He'd probably be a better quarterback.
Never mind. I didn't bring in
Ben DiNucci looks like.
Yeah, literally, and like when you said who's their quarterback, that's the reason that the Dallas Cowboys are going to lose.
Garrett Gilbert is actually the backup to Ben DiNucci, which would make Garrett Gilbert the 5th string quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
They just start him. He was the AAF MVP. Like, just start him. Just let him play. Let the AAF MVP play.
So I made a fool of myself last time I did this, but it was fun, so I'm going to do it again. So previously I said my boy Andy Dalton is going to lead the Dallas Cowboys to victory. So this week I'm going to say my boy Ben DiNucci is every time. My boy Ben DiNucci is going to lead the Dallas Cowboys to victory over the Philadelphia Eagles because Carson Wentz is trash. And Ben DiNucci probably isn't all that much better. But this NFC East division, honestly, I'm actually going to be completely honest with my reasoning here. It's not even really based off of football. This NFC East division is absolute, complete, utter dumpster juice.
I'm literally thinking of my room talking about it. My room thinks now because we was talking about this.
So what I'm doing, I'm picking the team that has the most losses and picking them to win. Because that would just figure, right? The Cowboys have 0.5 more losses than the Philadelphia Eagles, so I'm picking them to move to 3-5 and the division lead.
That division is so bad.
It's insane.
Like, how do you have a division that bad in the National Football League? Like you might have to win 11 games in the AFC to make the playoffs this year, and the NFC East is so bad.
Every team in that division is in the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes.
It's either you win the division or you get Trevor Lawrence. Like,
and honestly, maybe even though Philly just took Jalen Hurts, I think because of how much they just want to be, they said they want to be a quarterback factory. They might be in the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes. Who knows? So the last non-AFC North game of the week we have is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to the New York Giants. And this, not quite as difficult of a game to predict as the Chiefs and Jets. But I don't know. I feel like we're going to have a lot of disagreement on this one. What are you doing?
I had to. I was just going to say, even if Tom Brady can't remember whether it was 4th down or not, I think he's still going to be able to, and he's looked a lot better. And the Giants without Saquon Barkley, I don't think there's any question. But I was just doing the Tom Brady.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna not pick the Buccaneers, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this one's very clearly the Buccaneers. You'd have to be kind of insane not to pick them. And Lawson mentioned without Saquon Barkley, but I think even with Saquon Barkley, there's no chance.
I'm sorry, my dogs are barking. They also agree that Tampa Bay is going to win this game.
Yes. I could probably bring Murphy in and he'd probably pick Tampa Bay. The Buccaneers.
By the way, for anybody who's watching this podcast and thinking about betting, and you're thinking about betting on the Giants against the Buccaneers, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't be that idiot. Don't try to be the smartest man in the room. Don't do that. Because first of all, the Giants beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. And Tom Brady probably remembers that. So there's no way he's losing this game. Don't tell me Daniel Jones has potential. Daniel Jones ain't got no potential. He got potential to be some toilet paper. That's it. That trash ass mofo. Oh, we got another friend.
Yeah, we got another guest. This is actually this is my sibling.
Hi, sibling.
Yes. Very, very young. But anyway, who do you think is going to win between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the New York Giants?
I held a football once.
Held a football once. So Buccaneers or Giants? The Buccaneers are like pirates, and the Giants are very tall.
I think Pirates are cooler than Giants.
So okay, even he thinks that the Buccaneers are going to win. So thank you for your contribution.
Don't do it. Do not do it. Don't even waste $1 on betting on the Giants.
Don't
do it.
I mean, maybe if you're two choices in life, maybe if you're like three choices in life, and it's either bet on the Jets or bet on the Giants or get a gunshot to the head, maybe then pick the Giants. I don't know.
God, I wish New York team is worse right now.
The Jets are definitely worse. The Jets are like all-time bad, I think, right now. Whereas the Giants are like, they're bad, but like there's I don't want to say potential. That feels like the wrong word, but there's not the Jets there, so that helps. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to these AFC North games. We got the Cincinnati Bengals hosting the Tennessee Titans. As the lead Bengals fan in this, the only Bengals fan hosting this podcast, but you know what I mean. I'm going to go ahead and take this one. And as I said before in the preview, matchup-wise, I just do not think that this is a good game, a good matchup for the Bengals at all. So, I mean, it would make me so happy for me to be wrong on this one, but I'm sorry. The Titans are they match up too well with the Bengals. And I think Derrick Henry is going to murder us. And if he doesn't, then Ryan Tannehill is going to do it. So, give me the Titans this week.
I think time of possession is going to be huge. The thing is the thing with Henry running the ball as much as he's going to. I think the Bengals get the ball maybe a quarter worth of the game. So take the Titans for me as well.
Titans going to probably dominate ball possession. I think they're going to try and do what they can to make sure that Burrow don't have a chance to keep you on the game or come back in the game. I actually still think the game is going to be a little bit close. I think the Bengals offense is clicking right now, so I think they might be able to continue that momentum next week.
That's even if they can get on the field.
Yeah, well, yes. I mean, they got to get the ball at least once or twice, right? Like,
right.
It's about taking advantage of your possessions. Yeah. Y'all get Joe Mixon back next week? Or y'all getting Joe Mixon back?
I think so.
I'm not sure though.
I'll look it up real quick.
Well, it would be hard to tell right now because it's Wednesday, but
you can tell if he's been practicing or not.
Yeah, well, I mean, so Joe Mixon back. I mean, I can make some noise. I think it's gonna be a close game, honestly. I'm gonna go with the I think it's gonna be competitive. So I'm gonna go I'm gonna say it's gonna be a competitive 3 quarters. and I think the Titans are going to pull away in the fourth. So I think it's going to be 31-20 Titans in a competitive game.
I'm not saying we're going to get destroyed and blown out, but I am saying I'd be very surprised if we won.
Mixon did not practice today, by the way.
So Mixon's probably not going to be back.
Correct.
But whatever. Giovanni Bernard was fine.
Yeah.
So
just get through this game, the next game, Bengals fan, and y'all gonna win. Y'all gonna win. Y'all gonna go on a win streak. Y'all got a win streak in your future.
Well, we got a very easy schedule in our future too. So you might be right. We might win 6 games this year. You never know.
I said 7. Remember, I said 7 last podcast. I said y'all can creep up. Y'all might be able to hit that 7 mark.
You know what are we 1-5-1 right now? So I say we're going 10-5-1.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, so let's move on. Raiders Browns in Cleveland. I'll give it to you first, Thomas.
Browns. Give me the Browns. I think Baker's is going to be a man on the mission. I think Baker is like he's feeling good. He felt good about proving the haters wrong. He's going to take advantage of a bad defense. I just think that I think Baker is going to come back. He's going to prove to everybody that he can play on a level that he did his rookie season, and he's going to play on a level that he had the potential to play on. And I think this game is just going to be a confidence builder for the Browns. I just think that Kevin Stefanski is locked in. Give me the Browns this game. Give me the Browns.
I agree. I think the Browns are I think they have shown lately a lot that they are a solid team that deserves to be taken seriously. I know that game against the Steelers was rough.
It was.
But other than that, the Browns have been putting good results out there. I think the Raiders are good. I think the Raiders are scrappy. I think it's going to be a close game. And I wouldn't even be shocked if the Raiders won this game. But if I had to put money on one of the two, I'd put it on the Raiders. Lawson?
You're picking the Raiders.
Oh, you said? Browns. I'm picking the Browns, not the Raiders.
I'm taking Browns as well. I mean, if they can do anything like they did against us last week, unfortunately, and keep Baker Mayfield in the pocket and keep him upright and no pressure, I think he's going to go off.
Yeah.
I think it's what it boils down to.
The Browns got the 3rd ranked offense based off of Pro Football Focus in the NFL. They have the 3rd. They have 3rd best graded offense. The only offenses that have a better graded offense is the Seattle Seahawks and the Green Bay Packers. Granted, those were bad teams the Browns played, but the Raiders defense is one of the worst defenses we're going to play all year. So.
I think so. But, we'll see what happens. Last, but very much not least, we have probably the marquee matchup of the week across the entire NFL in the Steelers and Ravens battling for supremacy of the AFC North. So who you got in this one, Thomas?
I'm actually going to go with the Ravens. And the reason I'm going with the Ravens is because I need the Ravens to win so we can have some chance of possibly ever winning this division this year. And I don't think we want to win the division this year. But if there's any chance for us to win the division this year, we need the Ravens to win. So come on, Ravens. I'm rooting for you, Lamar Jackson. I thought I would never say that in my life, but I'm going with the Ravens. I think one thing to look at though is Ben Roethlisberger. His deep ball throws haven't been very well exactly. So I think the Ravens are going to try and force Ben Roethlisberger to make throws that he's not comfortable with making yet. And I think that the Ravens offense is just the offense that could probably get past that Steelers run defense. I think that they're very smart. So I'm going with the Ravens. Come on, Ravens.
I'm going to say the Ravens as well. I think I don't want to say necessarily that the Steelers defense was preying on some weaker opponents. Obviously, I think, but I think that they're going to get the run identity of the Ravens are going to come back, and I think they're going to push the ball over the Steelers just enough to give them that edge. I think it's going to be close though. It's going to be a typical AFC North battle.
Yeah,
I think it could be. Yes.
So,
I
fuck the Ravens.
Feel very, very dirty for saying this.
Don't do it
because they suck and I hate
don't forget our motto.
The Steelers still suck. but they're gonna win this week. I'm sorry, Thomas. But I just think the Steelers right now, they look like the most complete team in the NFL. That defense, if anybody is going to take advantage of that Baltimore Ravens team, I think the Steelers not only match up well against them, but, I mean, if they catch Ben Roethlisberger on, if they catch Ben Roethlisberger in a really bad streak, then I think they could make that. Maybe if the offense can get going against that, really tight Steelers defense, I think that the Ravens definitely have a chance here. It's not. I'm not guaranteeing that the Steelers are going to win this game, but if I had to bet out of the two teams, it feels to me like the Steelers got this game. Sorry, Thomas.
I fucking hate the Steelers. I fucking hate y'all so much. I hate you, Pittsburgh. Fuck you, Pittsburgh. I mean, I hate Baltimore more still because
I hate Pittsburgh too.
But I just need the Steelers to lose because I'm putting on hope that we still might have a chance to win this division. Come on, Baltimore. Come on, Baltimore.
Well,
I need y'all, man.
Yep. So that does it for the predictions. Looks like for the most part, yeah, Thomas and Lawson, you guys made the exact same predictions. So I had
Great minds think alike.
Do what?
Great minds think alike.
I guess. I had the Steelers, Lions, and Cowboys winning, whereas y'all had the opposite happening. But out of you two, you guys are going to have the exact same record this week, no matter what. So we don't really need to go too much into it because we just talked about it, the Ravens-Steelers game. But there's just to kind of wrap up and talk about the state of the AFC North. A stat that I found interesting was actually that the Ravens opened as 5.5-point favorites this week. I don't quite understand how that, and it's moved down to 3.5 since then. But and I think I picked the Steelers to win, but I don't think that it's really good. I think it's a very close kind of thing, and to say that either team is a 5.5-point favorite, 5.5 point favorite. Wow, that is the right way to say that. 5.5-point favorite. Jesus. It doesn't make any sense to me. I think the Steelers are the better team, but even if you're saying the Ravens are maybe the better team, it's not that, big of a dip. The Steelers have beaten some good teams this year. They beat the Browns, they beat the Titans. They almost dropped it against the Titans, and the Titans could be undefeated if not for a Stephen Gostkowski missed field goal, but they didn't. It's just, to me, that point spread seems high.
I think it's way too early to I just think it's way too early to crown a team in any sort of way in any part of the NFL, especially considering the fact that we're not even halfway through the season yet. This game will be that. So I think that so much can happen through the rest of the year. Even if one of these teams lose this game, it doesn't mean that they will lose the division because both of these teams play twice. Mm-hmm. And don't forget, both of these teams got to play the Browns again. I think the Browns are going to be better the second time around when they play these teams. Both of these teams got to play the Bengals again, who are going to be better the second time around. So I think that this division is so much fun to watch. Like every single team in this division is so much fun to watch. And I just don't think that we're going to have real answers about this division and real answers about every team in the division for another few weeks. I think we're just watching it develop. But I will say this is going to be the best division in football for the next 2 or 3 years. I am outside, obviously, the NFC West, obviously. But next year, I think the AFC North is going to be what the NFC West is right now. So I'm very excited about just watching this division, just seeing AFC North games because these fan bases are so passionate and we're all so close to each other. So it's going to be fun to watch this division just grow the next, especially when all 4 teams can make the playoff now. Yeah. So this is going to be a fun division. I think it's going to be I think this division is going to be the class of the AFC for the next 3 or 4 years.
Something I actually something I want to address real quick. We had somebody comment on the one of the YouTube videos on a couple episodes ago. I forget exactly which video it was, but they mentioned a very good point that it's way too early to really seriously be talking about the playoffs. And I just want to point out, we're not really saying anything specific is going to be happening about the playoffs. But at the end of the day, all of these games in the regular season, the whole point is about what does this mean to the playoff race? Who's going to be trying to win this division? Who's going to be in the best position to win the division? And then what does that also maybe mean to their wild card chances? Because that's what they're all fighting for at the end of the day. So I know it's early. It's way too early to really be talking about playoffs. And that's why the playoff talk's going to ramp up a lot in the later weeks. But right now, it's just a basic part of the conversation. I wouldn't read too much into when we talk about the playoffs right now.
Yeah. How about the Oklahoma quarterbacks? By the way, just a side note, by the way, this is a little off topic. But how about the Oklahoma quarterbacks winning the offensive players of the week, Kyler Murray and Baker Mayfield? And I remember when it's funny because Baker being drafted, there's Big 12 quarterbacks can't play in the NFL. Big 12 quarterbacks can't play in the NFL. Well, because Big 12 is all centered around offense. Well, in the NFL, where the NFL is going towards more of an offensive leading league, is the NFL benefit offenses. Now those Big 12 quarterbacks are looking more appetizing. I'm talking to you, Philadelphia.
Fair enough.
As Carson Wentz. You're trash, Carson Wentz.
We'll probably find out eventually if Carson Wentz keeps playing like this and they're not in the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes. We might find out eventually whether Jalen Hurts can consistently play in the NFL. But that is I think, discussion for another day. I think that about does it for today's episode of the Battle of Ohio podcast. Once again, the Browns in a much better position. The Bengals are basically looking forward to, maybe building some momentum for next year and, positioning themselves in the draft and who are we going to get in the draft. And, that's a long time away, but that's where the Bengals are at right now. The Browns, on the other hand, they're very much in this, race. And, if they can get string some good wins together, then, watch out for them. But anyway, everybody, thank you so much for listening. Really appreciate it. Pretty much every single view that we get, especially right now when our podcast is so new and so really not doing a whole lot. Anybody who watches, I appreciate you so much. If you want to, if you like it, if you have any ideas, leave it down in the comments. We'll talk about it on the show. We'll shout you out. We'll do, basically if you got something that you think would be cool in this, just let me know. And, we'll listen to just about anything. Anyway, you can find me. What?
Before we go, I want to ask one more quick question about the Bengals. Do you think AJ Green will be traded before Monday?
No.
I don't. Okay, cool.
No.
Sorry.
No, I don't. The reason I don't is because I don't think he was ever really going to be traded. I think when he was playing badly, I think his trade value was too low to the point that the Bengals would accept anything for him. And now that he's playing well again, I think the Bengals want to keep him around because he is such a good team guy. The Bengals don't really trade people a lot anyway. They traded Carlos Dunlap because they had to. There was no choice there. It's you could cut him, but why wouldn't you at least try to get something for him? The Bengals aren't going to trade AJ Green. I don't think they will.
I agree.
But anyway, like I said, y'all can find me at Kyle Phelps 92 on Twitter and Facebook.com/the Phelps. You can find Thomas on Twitter, T_94, T_star94, right?
Yep.
Yep. And then on YouTube at the Blowdown page.
Black Baker Mayfield Part 3 is coming out soon.
Yes.
Can't wait. It's gonna be funny.
I look forward to that. And any of y'all who follow the Battle of Ohio podcast Facebook page, I don't think we have a Twitter page yet, but if you follow the Battle of Ohio podcast on any social media platforms, you'll see we'll post that too, because that's some good stuff, and it's also relevant to the channel.
Yep.
So thank you to our very first real guest joining us this week, Jacob Lawson. Appreciate you coming in.
Thanks
buddy.
for having me.
Yeah.
Welcome back whenever you guys, if you need somebody to talk football with, just let me know.
Absolutely. It's fun. And anybody else who potentially wants to be on the podcast, just we do this whole thing on Zoom, so it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter, pretty much anything. We'll find a way to fit you in, and it's just coming on, having some fun, having some beer, and you can make some predictions with us and see if you're any good at it or not. I don't know, but is there anything you want to say, Lawson, before we're done?
I don't think so.
Yep.
Who day?
All right. Who day? And Thomas over here just like, gotta go Brown. Anyway, thanks for listening, everybody. Who day?